Well, good evening, everyone. It is July 5th here, Friday evening, about 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Wanted to do another update video on what once was Hurricane Beryl, now Tropical Storm Beryl. Beryl made landfall early morning hours here on Friday morning in the Yucatan Peninsula near Tulum, Mexico. And as we can see here in our infrared satellite, the center of Beryl is somewhere just kind of emerging in the Gulf of Mexico, somewhere right around there. And so you can continue to see this spin here. Beryl has finally moved off of land, off the Yucatan, and now is back into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, again, we certainly have seen that Beryl has weakened a considerable amount. That's very normal when you're over land. If you're a tropical system, they really feed off of that warm water, and obviously haven't had that. Now, what is anticipated is that now that Beryl is reemerging into the Gulf of Mexico, it may take some time into our Saturday, but likely we'll start to see Beryl ramping up again and intensifying, and that could mean trouble for Texas. It looks more and more likely that we will see a Texas landfall. This is our latest update from the National Hurricane Center. And so, again, this was as of 4 p.m. Central. So, this is about 2.5 hours old. But we did have sustained winds of 65 miles per hour, moving west northwest at 15 miles per hour. But what you can see here with the track is that since our last video, the track was showing northern Mexico, maybe Brownsville area. Well, now we're much further east and north, now showing a landfall somewhere probably around that Corpus Christi, Texas area, but wouldn't be surprised if we see this continue to move further up the coast, somewhere possibly between Corpus Christi and even the Houston metro area. So, really, all along the Texas coast, we cannot let our guard down. This forecast cone, really from about this point here to this point here, this encompasses everywhere that it could impact, which is the entire Texas Gulf Coast and even parts of Louisiana. Can't be ruled out yet. So, definitely what we're looking at is a Texas landfall. It looks like very likely this won't be a northern Mexico landfall anymore. And again, looks like we will see by about 1 p.m. on Sunday back to hurricane strength, still hurricane strength here at landfall. Again, showing landfall right now around 1 p.m. Monday. It does look like it'll probably be early morning hours Monday or maybe around that afternoon time. So, again, does look like a Texas landfall is going to be in the cards. Still, a lot will change here as this cone has been changing, and it's really difficult to judge intensity. So, if you live anywhere along, even from Western Louisiana or especially along the Texas Gulf Coast, we'll very likely see a hurricane, very possibly an intensifying, possibly major hurricane making landfall late Sunday or sometime on Monday. And so that's what we're looking at here. Now, one thing that I did want to show here is our models here for the hurricane. What's interesting to see here is that we can see lots of different individual models into this ensemble. So this shows our circulation here over the Yucatan. Pretty good agreement that we move west northwest here across the Gulf of Mexico. And then what we see is some pretty good clustering right along that Gulf Coast. Now, we do start to see some members. There's a couple members that are way out here to the west, many members here that are across the Gulf Coast, anywhere from Brownsville up to Houston and Galveston. But what we see is that as we move forward in time here, we do seem to have the most members, probably somewhere from about Houston to, again, Corpus Christi, with a few outliers on either end. So, again, that's why I think that we're very likely to see not a deep South Texas landfall as maybe we originally thought. Also, maybe not a Louisiana or a Lake Charles type of a landfall either. It looks like somewhere, again, probably that Corpus Christi to Houston area would be my guess. And when we look at, let me get this off here, move back in time. So again, this shows us our time here. So this would be Monday morning, 6Z. So that would be really Monday at about 1 a.m. Now, as we move forward in time, if we go to 12Z, that would be about 7 a.m. So again, some of these models are still offshore at 7 a.m. Monday. Some are already making landfall. So again, it looks like that overnight Sunday into early Monday morning or possibly Monday morning, something like that is the time frame that we're looking at. Now, what is interesting right now that has been observed here recently is if we look at these different ensemble members here, they all had Beryl kind of moving this way off of the Yucatan. As we noted here a second ago, with our center of circulation being kind of right up here, give or take, that is actually further north than really most of the little models were showing. This has the center somewhere probably right around this area from that satellite imagery that we were just looking at, which again is further north than even many of these ensemble members, especially any of these members. Maybe we could say these further north, which again means that we're more likely to see some sort of a move, not a wiggle like that, but more of a move somewhere this direction here versus something that's going to go towards Brownsville. So that's why I definitely think we can't let our guard down if we're in Houston, but more likely somewhere here along that Corpus Christi to Houston, Texas Gulf Coast, I think is probably where we'll end up seeing landfall again, either late Sunday or early Monday. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Again, Beryl has certainly weakened pretty considerably as it's been over land, but now that it's emerging back in the Gulf of Mexico, probably will start to intensify again as we go through our Saturday, regain hurricane strength, and we could see rapid intensification. Certainly, the Gulf of Mexico is very, very warm water. We've seen hurricanes rapidly intensify over the Gulf as well. Not going to be as much shear, and so we have everything in place to see Beryl really start to ramp up again, which would mean some pretty serious threats for the Texas Gulf Coast. So everybody, hope that you have a nice weekend. Hopefully this update was helpful. I'll definitely get on here and do another update tomorrow as well, and then I'll likely be leaving probably early Sunday morning to head towards the Gulf Coast to intercept Hurricane Beryl. So hope you have a good evening. I'll see you back for the next video.